kings, but you'll shut down churches. No kings, but you'll force people out of their jobs for not complying. No kings, but you'll arrest a barber for opening his shop. No kings, but your leaders party maskless while your kids eat lunch behind plexiglass. No kings, but you'll cancel someone for saying 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. No kings, but you'll hand power to bureaucrats you never even voted for. No kings, but you'll preach freedom while silencing anyone who thinks differently. No kings, but you'll trust government scientists more than your own common sense. No kings, but when black people think differently, they're coons and bedwenches. No kings, but you'll burn cities to fight oppression while cheering when small businesses are crushed. No kings, but you'll demand obedience like peasants under a crown. See, it was never no kings. It was our kings, just not yours.
Shout out to her, man, because that was 1000% on point. And you know something? You know it's bad and getting really bad when your own people are questioning why they were outside protesting. Yeah, we've gotten to that point, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a couple of clips of some Democrats who were absolutely questioning what the heck they were out there doing. And then I got some more stuff to get into because, of course, there's always something going on behind the scenes and you're not going to want to miss it. All right. So with that being said, let's dive into this first Democrat who started to question things a little bit. Let's dive in.
I went to the rally yesterday for No Kings, and let's just say we might be actually kind of cooked. That's how I felt like after leaving. First, we were standing in front of City Hall. City Hall is closed. And we were just standing there, literally just standing there. And then people had their funny signs and funny costumes, which I understand is supposed to portray us as non-violent and peaceful and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it seems like a very fun community event, but nothing really that's going to make any big changes. Don't get me wrong, I feel like it's good to raise awareness, because if someone's driving by, they're probably like, I wonder what's all that crowd, and they'll probably look it up. But besides that, I can't see anything else that this was useful for, no offense. And what I find even worse is people were packing their bags. Mine was from 10 to 11:30. At 11:25, they were packing their bags ready to go. It's like, did you guys just come for like a casual hangout? And then I bet after that, they probably went to restaurants with their friends, supporting the exact people that were boycotting against and yelling out. Oh my God. I mean, it was a fun experience, but if we want change, I don't think that's the way.
They were packing their stuff because they were bought and paid for, but we'll go get into that here in a second. Here is another Democrat who was absolutely questioning, what in the world were we doing?
Bro, No King's Day was so anti-productive. My voice is out because I was leading chants. Bro, there were so many people willing to say, show me what democracy looks like, show me what a patriot looks like, but as soon as I start chanting about some free Palestine, or from Palestine to Mexico, these border walls have got to go, nobody said a fucking word. Not only that, but they had Democrat voting tables with like some Democrats campaign. They had police all around it that they invite to the protest, and then right when the protest was supposed to be over, they told everybody to leave. They're like, you gotta get out. I wish I was making this shit up. Bro, No King's Day was...
But, you know, if you listen to mainstream media, No King's Day was so successful. So many people showed up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And yet you have people absolutely questioning, why in the world were we out there? That was a complete waste. An absolute waste. And, you know, when they talk about the crowds and the numbers and things, I think I showed you guys, what was it? Was it yesterday? I don't remember. I think it was yesterday. Maybe the day before yesterday. I don't know. Sometime recently, I showed you guys that there were literally buses close to where these protests were. And actually, one of you, the day before I made that video, commented that you went near or to one of these protests, and you noticed suspiciously there weren't a lot of cars nearby. Kind of like those people just appeared there. But the thing is, a lot of those folks were bussed in to those areas. And I talked about this in that same video, how a lot of these folks were a bunch of old white liberals in the city of Atlanta. Where's all the black people? Where's all the Hispanics? In DC, Same thing. I mean, a massive sea of old white liberals. Where's the black people? Where's the Hispanics? And it's the same thing every single protest. You look at these cities where you have a massive population of black and brown folks, but almost none of them were at these protests. So it makes you question what's going on here, and I think we might have gotten to the bottom of it. But before we get to that, you know what? Actually, let's get into it. I want to play this clip because I got another clip that I was going to show you. I forgot that I was going to play, but we're going to skip over that because it's kind of meaningless at this point. Let's get into this other clip from Ted Cruz and what he had to say.
No.
All right.
Look, I think you're right. I think he is scared for his political life. And the Democrats today are a party of radical interest groups. Now, I will say one of the most important things President Trump has done recently is he has pledged that he's going to go after Antifa. And what I've been urging is follow the money, cut off the money. And you look at this No Kings rally, and there's considerable evidence that George Soros and his network is behind funding these rallies, which may well be riots all across the country. And Soros is writing the check. And so I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act that would add rioting to the list of predicate offenses for RICO. Why is that? Because it would let the Department of Justice use RICO, racketeering, to prosecute the money that is funding the anti-Semitic protests on campuses, the pro-open border protest in LA and other cities, and these No King protests. Anyone that is supporting rioting and violence, it lets you go after the money. And I'll tell you, there are more than 200 left-wing groups behind these No Kings rallies this weekend. They deliberately are blind to what each of the others are doing. That's part of how they avoid accountability. RICO is designed for precisely that sort of criminal enterprise. And so I believe the Senate, we ought to take up and vote on and pass our Stop Funders legislation. And I've urged both Pam Bondi at DOJ and Kash Patel at FBI, follow the money and prosecute those who are writing checks funding acts of violence, political violence or otherwise, across the country.
Yeah, so you heard Ted Cruz talk about it there, and we have the list of individuals who were funding this. Amongst those include Buffett. So you guys are familiar with Mr. Warren Buffett, Ford, Rockefeller, Soros, and Tides. Okay, here is, I'm going to throw, it's pretty small. So let me see if I can blow this up, actually. Let's see. Can I make this bigger? I don't think that I can. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. I mean, it's still kind of small, but you can see it a little bit there. Here is the list of people and organizations that were funding. Actually, these are all the organizations that were collecting money from a lot of these billionaires to contribute to the protest. And here are some of the names here at the top. You got Ford, Rockefeller, Soros, Tides, Arabella. Is that how you pronounce that? Arabella? I don't know. Anyway, these are some of the folks that were putting some money in, okay? And it's a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. You can see the grand total right there down at the bottom of the screen. I doubt you guys can see that. $294 million. Absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. Right? So, like he said, follow the money. And what you tend to find time and time again is that Democrats have to spend a boatload of money to make it seem or sound as if they have this massive amount of support. I mean, we could just go back to this past election. If you guys remember, there was over $2 billion, a record amount of money. Nobody has ever had that amount of money spent on them during a presidential, for a presidential election. Kamala had over $2 billion spent on her, between her and, what do you call them? Drawing a blank here. I'm drawing a blank. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The organizations, right? There's a name for it. I'm just completely drawing a blank. I'm sure you guys are typing it in the comment section right now. But Over $2 billion spent on her, a record amount of money, and she still lost. They were busing people in to her rallies, paying them, right? Paying people to show up to try to support her, and she still lost. She still lost. So don't pay attention to the charades and the shenanigans and, of course, mainstream media. Oh, my goodness, look how popular this thing is. If it was so popular, why do you have to bus people in? If it was so popular, why are you paying protesters? Why are you paying people? If it's so popular, why do you have to pay? If it's really that popular, you don't have to pay anybody. They just show up. Just saying, like, it's obvious here. It is so obvious, but yet you will have mainstream media and Democrats tout this protest as if it was massively successful. And we all know why they're doing it, right? We know why they want to play the game of optics, right? It's because they want people who aren't engaged, right? Who are just like kind of on the fringe. They don't really pay attention to politics a whole lot. They just kind of dabble into it here or there, see a little headline or something and move on, may chat about it with a couple of their close friends and whatnot. They want those people to be convinced that there's this mass amount of people in this country that actually don't like Trump, completely disagree with Trump, and want Trump gone. And I've seen it. I've seen it on social media on different posts that different accounts have made, right? Big Democrat accounts. And I've shown you guys some of these accounts in the past. I wish I would have saved some of those posts, because actually that would have been perfect for right now to show you guys. But yeah, there are legitimately people in those comment sections that are typing in things like, now I'm questioning this past election because how in the world are so many people against Trump, but he still won? Like stuff like that. It's like, bro, what? They're paying these people to show up. This isn't organic. They're busing these people in. It's not organic. And number two, there's a boatload of Trump supporters in this country, but a lot of Trump supporters want to be left alone, so they stay silent. They don't say anything. It's your neighbor. It's your coworker that you kiss and hug on a daily basis. Not really, but you get what I mean. That you're super friendly with on a daily basis. Yeah, they voted for Trump. They'll never tell you because they know how you liberals are. But that also leads to my last point, and I'm going to let you guys get out of here. We got to stop being so silent. We have to stop being silent. There's more of us than there are of them. But because they're the louder ones, and they have mainstream media behind them, and they have paid protesters, right? And organizations that help bus people around and make signs for them and the whole nine, it can sometimes seem as if there's more of them, but it's not. It's not. But y'all get in the comments and let me know your thoughts. I can't even talk. Goodness gracious. Your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.